Welcome back to another episode of the ABL review. Here we're talking about, I just realized I called these divisions, not conferences. So I guess these are the divisional finals. Doesn't sound quite as good. These are the divisional finals for season 18 of the ABL. Got the, I'm going to start with the West first and we'll see why. And it's not just because it's me. Let me reframe, I'm going to remember to do that this time. So, this is one of the wildest battles I feel like I've had in a long time. This is a weird one to plan for because I've faced Zach quite a bit in the past few seasons. Very good prepper, very good battler. He's elite. Let's say that. And he's got one of the elite Pokemon of this league right now in Skeledirge. I don't know if it necessarily, we didn't take full stats, so I don't think I have the stats to back that up, but that's definitely what it feels like, is that Skeledirge is. So, let's talk about what we got going on here. I've got 3 setup mons against an unaware Pokemon. So that's the big news there, is I need to get rid of this Skeledirge to have a chance. I also brought, oh no, never mind, I have 4, because I brought Calm Mind Vaporeon to this battle. A battle in which he brought 2 grass types and an electric type. So, at team preview, I'm not feeling super great, I'll be honest. But what I do have is probably one of the best setup sweepers in the game that I did build to be able to beat Skeledirge 1v. So, let's see how that goes. So we got the Iron Thorns lead versus the Volcarona. Already, I am feeling okay because of what's going to happen here on turn 1. Okay, I know that I'm Terra Ground, and I go for the Quiver Dance as he's going to go ahead and go for the Stone Edge. Smart play to go for the Stone Edge. Don't fuck. I wouldn't fuck around with Volcarona. But I got him there. I don't know if Hidden Power, Terra Ground was on his radar. I considered just going out and attacking this first turn, but it's like, I can get ahead of the game. Because either it's maybe he expects me to switch out and try to set up rocks. That's good for me too. But this turn here, so I go for the Terra Blast, KO him. So this right there, I've actually kind of already won the game. Just at this point in time, because at this point he has nothing that can KO Volcarona while it's set up like this. Technically he does, but he doesn't know that. I'm defensive Volcarona. Maybe he figured that out from this point. I don't know if he bothered to calc that Stone Edge damage and notice that this is a Fizz Def Volcarona. Because what he could have done next is go into Meowscarada and go for Flower Trick and KO me. That would have been his ideal play. Actually, I guess his ideal play, because he also said he was Assault Vest, Hidden Power Water. He expected me to go for not you know what I mean. Not Hidden Power Terra. He expected me to go for Giga Drain here, in which case he didn't want to switch. He didn't think Terastallizing was going to help, so he figured I'll just go ahead and stay in and lose this one and follow up after. So he goes into Donphan here. I get the good flamethrower damage. High horsepower comes out. I realize I can keep Morning Sunning, and eventually he'll burn himself. He goes for the opportunity to get Stealth Rock up here. And this is my opportunity to kind of pull ahead, because I know I need another Quiver Dance to be able to outspeed Meowscarada. Well, a potential Scarf Meowscarada. I guess that's what I was afraid of, is a Scarf Meowscarada. So I get up that second Quiver Dance here. He's going to go for high horsepower, get burned. I'm just going to get as much HP as I can to avoid Sucker Punch and Ice Shard, maybe Shenanigans, because I knew I could live an Ice Shard there at that point. He's going to knock off my heavy duty boots, but at this point, I've pretty much got it. He's going to go hard into Skeledirge just to go for Flamethrower. I did consider going for Terra Blast there. I'm disappointed. And I also considered going for Flamethrower on this turn, but I didn't want to risk anything, because I knew that I could win that 1v1 anyways. So at this point, it's all wrapped up. He's used his Terra, nothing crazy can happen. I'm faster than everything on his team. I'm actually now getting recovery because of the grassy terrain. Even an Ice Shard crit wouldn't have KO'd me from there. He obviously doesn't have... And now with the grassy terrain up. Even like a crit banded sucker punch wouldn't KO me, or it can't KO me because psychic terrain's up. So not at all how I expected this to go. I did not expect to get a 1v6 sweep with Volcarona in 13 turns against a team that had a Skeledirge, especially, you know, coached by Zach, one of the better battlers in the past, when did he come in? Like 8 seasons. He's got 3 championships in that time. 3, you know, consecutive championships also. Not how I expected it to go. I do feel like he, you know, it's hard to, especially with Terra in play, it's hard to predict what coverage people are going to bring, because when you see hidden power, you know, Terra ground, you might think that's just a defensive Terra, or you might think maybe he didn't figure out it was offensive quickly enough. Maybe he thought I only had Quiver Dance 3 attacks, in which case I think he probably made the right call not Terroring. But I'm going to go ahead and say that that's why you calc everything. Literally calc everything. I don't care if it did, like if the difference is between like, oh, if I was defensive, that would have done 3%, but since I'm offensive, that did 8%. Go figure it out. Information's always good. That's all I'm going to say about this. I don't even know if that played a role in what happened with Zach on turn like 1 and 2, if he could have figured out I was defensive based on that. But, you know, all I'm going to say. But now we can move over to the other side of things. In the West Division, we've got Curtis taking on Jabron. Curtis, let me see. I feel like Curtis was on a super hot streak going into this. Where's Curtis's stuff? Okay, maybe not super. He had to forfeit one, and then he lost to Brett, but he lost to Jabron, Brett, and a forfeit all season. So honestly, pretty hot team right now. He brought Ice Cube, which is pretty exciting. We haven't seen Ice Cube before. This is our first Ice Cube sighting. You know, if he's like the Belly Drum Slack one, and he's got Ice Spinner Zen Headbutt, or maybe like Liquidation Zen Headbutt substitute with a Salic Berry and Belly Drum, you never know. That could work out here for him. There's a lot of physical attackers. Probably buys you a turn. Let's hop into this. We got the Rotom Wash lead versus the Talonflame. Man, it's just such Gen 6 vibes. Thunderwave comes out. I like seeing the Thunderwaves come out. Thunderwave is such like a disruptive thing. It buys you turns. Bold move for Jabron to stay in there, getting off the Sludge Bomb damage. But worth it, I think, in most cases, because Pex can always come back, right? Terrablast comes out. Kind of a weird call there. I don't understand why he just raw Terra Blasted. Like, even a Dazzling Gleam, I think, is better in that spot. So, knock off the Talonflame's heavy-duty boots. That's very cool. I really want to see hazards go up just because this Talonflame is going to take 50% damage. But the only potential hazard setter is the Iron Treads. See that Salamence get burned right away. This is like Stall Breaker Talonflame. Might even have Taunt as its last move. No, there's no way it's Taunt. Grass Garchomp comes. I don't really know what. I guess that's to hit the Rotom. I guess is the idea there. Ended up not working out. Wait, was that? Let me run that back. Yeah. So I'm gonna say good call by Curtis. He had Rotom in and wanted to check that and make sure that he like what was happening there, because he was either going for a Dragon move, or he was gonna Terra. It ended up really paying off. He lost some damage on Hatterene, but you know, ended up working out. So we see this Scarf Rotom Volt Switch on the Simian. Probably Scarf. I'm gonna say, like, it's usually say that. Good chunk of damage from Hatterene here on this Florges. Blast is gonna KO from the Florges here. So, got a chance to... okay, crazy call to go into Iron Jugulus, right? Like, if anyone can explain that to me, why you go into Iron Jugulus there and not Iron Treads, like, the only excuse is, oops, misclick, right? I don't get that one. So you gave it Eternal Leftovers recovery, and you lost a little bit, and you lost 14% HP on Iron Treads. Probably not the end of the world, but still, it's something that I think you'd probably want back. I would have liked to see Stealth Rex go up here if he has it. Good prediction there from Jabron to get the Talonflame in. See the flamethrower come out. So this is okay, and we can also say with certainty that this is Flame Body, not Gale Wings, which means that this Iron Tread's got lucky knocking off that Talon Flame and not getting burned. I feel like Flame Body activates most of the time in Talon, right? Maybe that's just me. This is an I don't know why you'd try to bring in Ice Cube to set up. I guess that's you know, you could try to sub up there. It's a weird call to do it against a special attacker. I feel like this is like this doesn't work. Okay, you've discovered that this thing is a special attacker with flamethrower. You're not going to be able to set up that belly drum Ice Cube there, and things are falling apart for Curtis now. Iron Jugulies has a bad matchup in the rest of his battle. Salamence is burned. I talked about it in the last video. I don't think Iron Treads is a very good offensive Pokemon. So yeah, I don't know what else to say here. Like unless he gets, yeah, the Ice Spinner doesn't KO. Maybe if he rapid spun into Ice Spinner, granted you're proccing to potential Flame Body issues. But at this point, like, the battle's done. He just needs to flinch everything a lot, and he doesn't. So just an absolutely smothering gameplay by Jabron here to take out Curtis. And you know what? I've only been recording for 11 minutes, okay? So, but what this sets up is Jabron, who hasn't lost since Logan beat him in week 1, going to be taking on me, who I've got 2 losses, one of which was avenged from Zach here, and the other one was to Dakota, with that one that I was real salty about. So that's what is set up here. Some of the potential stakes on this matchup, I'm gonna go ahead and say, let me reframe this, sorry guys. I'm gonna go ahead and say that some of the potential things to talk about here is this lines up my potential 7th championship. It would be my I kind of see the league as different eras. Like, Season 9 is honestly where this era of the league started. I believe it's when Curtis came in, it's when Brett came in, Zach came in just a season after. Some things to note is that, with the exception of Season 1, when it was everyone's first season, we've never had a rookie win the championship. Never happened. Best bets at it were in Season 4, what's his name? James came in, had the what? Did he have the 1 seed? No, he didn't have the 1 seed. I think he had the 2 seed. James had the 2 seed, lost in semifinals to Logan. And then Zeng came in Season 8. He didn't really have a real shot at, he didn't make the playoffs, so let's say that. Of teams that, like, rookie teams that have made the playoffs have never won the championship. Season 9, Brett comes in, takes the league by storm. I think he had the 1 or the 2 seed, I can't recall for certain. Logan also took him out in the semifinals. And I think I won the championship that year. Logan won the championship in Season 4 when he beat James. And then that comes in the next year, goes to finals. First rookie to make it to finals, ends up losing to Brett in the finals. Brett's first championship win. And then, also in Season 9, Curtis, I said it was also his first season. I beat him in semifinals. So we have that going on as well. I think that is, like, kind of the predominant, let's see, Hap didn't make it to finals in his rookie year, neither did Connor, or Mitch, or, yeah, none of these. So I think that is a complete reference of that, until Jabron going on an absolute tear. Where's Jabron's team? Right here. New England Pat Rats. Very good name. I like it. Jabron has made it to finals. I'd argue personally that, at least this is how I felt, I feel like he might have been the favorite going into finals with how dominant he's been. And taking on me. So, looking for my 7th championship. He's looking to be the first rookie to ever win a championship. We'll see how that goes. But, just to kind of pad out this video a little bit more. What is that? I'm going to pull up a new doc I've been working on. Terra Research. Okay, so this very boring looking document, let's see if I can bring this up in a nice way. Yeah, that's good enough. This very boring looking document. What I did is I went through every game this year, and I tried to identify what was an impactful terrestrialization. What I qualified that as is a Terra that either on that turn or recently after, either it's a, there's a defensive Terra, which you Terra so that way you live a hit that otherwise would have KO'd you, or a Terra where you maybe you Terra into a new type and have Terra Blast or extra power from the Terra boost, where you gain a KO that you otherwise would not have. I did make a couple of exceptions where it didn't have immediate dividends, but it played a big role in later parts of the battle. So, here are all the Terras. This column is when they did Terra. This column is when it was impactful. I feel like I did this as objectively as possible. Just some highlights here. No one here in the West had 100% Terra rate. I think that is that's noteworthy. You'll see why in a little bit. The only person in the league who did not have a single successful Terra was Chris of the Kalamazoo Kabutos, not Kabutops, as I've been saying literally all season. Only Terra'd once, and it didn't really work out here against Mike. I don't know what specific circumstances of that was. There was kind of an interesting one. This battle, I remember this one because I debated on whether or not I should give this one credit. This battle in particular, Dakota terrestrialized, I want to say, with his Magneton into a ground type and hit the Clodsire on Mike's team. And he didn't get a KO, but what he did do is he would have gotten a KO on the next turn had Mike not also Terra'd to live a hit. I'm going to give him credit because it did force Mike to Terra on the subsequent turn. I gave that one credit. But, here's what we got going on. We had 5 successful Terras in a row from Zach to start the season. Fell off toward the end of the season. I had a very good Terra rate. I don't remember what I Terra'd in this battle. I think I just Terra'd. That was my Terra Fairy Cyclizar, which is more of, I just did it early on so that way I had a fairy type that I could switch in later. But I'm still not going to give myself credit for that. But also, as you can see, if you wanted to have a shot at playoffs, you needed to be Terroring well. We didn't have good Terras from Salem. We didn't have good Terras from Kalamazoo. And we didn't have good Terras from the Detroit Dragapults. They are the exception to the rule in that they were able to make it to playoffs while having a less than 50% Terra rate. This is at least from the West. But everyone else had over a 50% Terra rate, giving the West a total 59.6% Terra rate. 31 out of 52 Terras were successful. This is very boring, but I did the research, so I'm going to go into it and jump over to the East, where we have our first 100% Terra rate. He didn't Terra in every battle. He didn't have to Terra in the battle against Papcoon, but came out with every time Brett Terra'd, it was successful. It was an impactful Terra. We also had 100% Terra rate out of Alabama. They Terra'd less frequently. Look, they had a 3-game stretch. I think 2 of those might be forfeits. No, only one's a forfeit. But didn't Terra in any of those games and still came out on top. So good Terra rate here. Exception to, and we talked about the high Terra rate over in the other league. Curtis made it to division finals with having only a 37% Terra rate. So just another example of which is somebody playing good ends up working out for him. And actually, I felt like Jabron had the best Terras in the league, and he did for a while. He had a 100% Terra rate. Granted, he only Terra'd about 50% of the time going into the final week of the season, and then he just couldn't pull it off. I do think that this is because he was playing, like, I think if we probably look at the Terra rate just in playoffs, it probably is probably below season average, because I can only speak for myself. When I played Jabron, I was expecting him to Terra on a lot of things. So I was specifically playing around with that. So I do think that probably has an impact in how these numbers shake out. So the Terra rate is a little less successful over in the East, but only marginally so, like 0.12%. They had a 58.7% Terra rate. Didn't do it as often. But also that makes sense because there were more forfeits over in the... So they played less games. So I think that's also important to note. But just, that's about the rate tears are happening. We end up changing the Terra rules. My vote for how Terras would be changed, should we do them, would be, let me pull up, basically we'd have Terra Captain. Like for example, I would just go Roaring Moon and Volcarona get the Terra designation. So in a given week, only they can terrestrialize. We'll change this in a way. Trash. Sorry, Brett. But that's probably what I would do. It makes Terra, you can actually plan for it now. You don't have to go every turn, okay, well, what if they terrestrialize? Should I terrestrialize this turn to counter that? Which, personally, I think is just an overcomplication of the whole scenario. But there's that. That's just what I'm slightly pitching here. In the next one, we're going to talk about the championship week. Okay, well, let's reframe this guy, sorry. We'll talk about championship game. We'll probably touch on the Campbell's Chunky Soup Bowl, and we'll go over the MVPs to wrap up the season, and we'll go from there and maybe talk a little bit about the future. So thank you all for listening. Catch me in the next episode, which should be coming up soon.